How's it going, everyone? Sessiion here. Welcome to the official release date for Final Fantasy XIV Dawntrail. It has finally come for us to get started with what is the main scenario quest line. We'll be doing this in chapters, so just sit back, relax, enjoy, and let's just get straight into it. We're back with Ojika. A new world to explore. Oh, I can't wait. Welcome back, Adele. I just had word from Aaronville. It seems he's managed to secure passage to Tural aboard a guild ship vessel. Why don't you wait in the main hall while I go inform your travel companions? It should only take a moment. It's time for a new adventure. Ojika gave us the good news. We've made ready to set sail at a moment's notice. The only one yet to arrive is Aaronville himself. Ah, you're all here. It took some persuasion, but the Gleaner's Guild ship has granted us places aboard a vessel bound for Tural. There'll be other passengers, researchers and artisans, and the like, so we'll need to share deck space. That's fine, Aaronville. I doubt anyone expected we'd have a ship all to ourselves. They're not casting off just yet, so if you have any lingering concerns, now is the time to voice them. I wouldn't call it a concern, but everyone's still clear on what it is we'll be doing in Tural, yes? We've not forgotten. The nation of Tuliyola is in the midst of deciding its next ruler. As your chosen allies, we shall assist you during the rite of succession and support your bid to become Dawn's servants. In addition to that, Alphino and I have another objective. As part of its reconstruction, Garlemald seeks ways to reconcile and re-engage with its neighbors. By visiting Tural, we hope to learn more about how its myriad cultures interact with one another, how they find common ground, develop stronger ties, the sort of insights that might help our friends in Ilsabard. But we'll pursue this goal in our own time. You can be assured that we'll give the contest all due attention. That's all I ask. Otherwise, you're welcome to do as you like. You wanted to find out about your grandfather, right, Cryle? Yes. As far as we can determine from the old missive I found, he had been tasked with investigating the Golden City by your father, the Dawn Servant. Yet, oddly enough, we have no record of that investigation in our archives, and nothing to explain the earring which accompanied the letter. Thus, for reasons both official and personal, I should very much like to get the bottom of this mystery. I'm sure there'll be a chance to speak with Papa. You can get your answers right from the source. I look forward to meeting him. In any case, you're not the only one with an interest in the City of Gold. The Golden City is a children's bedtime story. I am part of this expedition only because the Third Promise has commanded that I serve as guide. Still playing the part of the stoic servant, I see. What of you? Don't you dare tell me you've changed your mind. I go wheresoever adventure is to be bound. Heh, that's what they tell me. Right, then if all are still committed to the journey, then I say we make ready to depart. Eager as they are, the others have already left for the harbor. We're not in danger of missing the boarding call, but perhaps we should be on our way as well.
Savoring the moment? I can feel your excitement, your eagerness to explore the unknown.
Well, for once, the fate of the world doesn't rest on our shoulders. We might even get a chance to enjoy ourselves.
Do not be so quick to relax. Though Tural may seem but a short sail away on a map, the vast seas between brim with peril. The treacherous waters of Shade's Triangle alone have claimed countless vessels. Even following the safe route plotted by Admiral Guthisvin herself, this will be no pleasure cruise.
Perhaps, but my voyage here was uneventful enough, disappointingly so.
Either way, the two of you have first-hand experience, which will be of great comfort in the days ahead, I'm sure.
Aye, it's nothing new to us.
All aboard! We're casting off!
It's time. I trust you have everything you need? And so does our ship cast off from the docks. We sail west, as Cattenram did some 80 years past, bound for the New World, known to her children as the continent of Tural.
Just wait, Papa. When this contest is said and done, it'll be your daughter who sits the throne. Me, Woklamat!
Smooth sailing so far?
Aye, so far so good. But this sea, she's a fickle one. Calm one moment, blowing a gale the next.
I'll take my rest while I can, then.
We left port what seems an age ago now, and we've seen naught but open water ahead. I knew Tural was far, but it's another thing to really know. Speaking of which, some of our fellow passengers have made this trip before, several times in fact. I was able to learn a few things about Tuliolal and the right of succession. Since we still have a long way to go, why not have a chat with them yourself? I'm sure you have questions of your own. look out across these same waters, Grandfather.
Oh, this will be my first visit to Tural. Upon obtaining the name, I was working at Esteem's Aesthetics in Ul'dah, you see, but my employment with them came to an end. That's why I visited Charlie in the hopes of starting over. While I was attempting and failing to find a job, I seized the chance to board this vessel when I overheard room for another passenger had suddenly opened up. I'm told the Dawn Servant welcomes all regardless of origin, and so Tural seemed like a perfect place to begin anew. Hopefully things will be better this time. I can feel my edge start to dull on these long sea voyages. How about some light sparring later? I see you in Eorzea before, you great and famous hero. Gah, I've had enough of playing the simpleton. There was a time when we took great pains to maintain the deception, but with more of you Eorzeans coming to Tural, it's become impractical. Besides, my mercenary days are over. Too many of our warband have fallen, so we head home to lick our wounds. My story? Well, since you asked, I wanted to retrace the historic journey of the great XIV. You know, the first Eorzeans to set foot on Tural, almost 80 years ago. The Mamulja's leader is said to have welcomed XIV with open arms and sent him home with a bounty of silverware as a token of their friendship. But the real treasure was the crops he brought back. Potatoes, tomatoes, and corn, which spread across Eorzea like wildfire. His grand adventure led to a culinary revolution. The tales say XIV returned to Tural several times after that, but his ship vanished during his last recorded voyage, and he was never heard from again. That even a seasoned explorer like him could meet such an end is testimony to the ocean's peril. An adventurer, I presume. I'm a merchant myself based in Ul'dah, specialty imports and exports, Eorzean and Turali both. If this is your first cross from the salt, as they say, do remember that the social mores of Eorzea are not necessarily the same as though over yonder. Consider this. It is not uncommon for the various races to be referred to instead by the names of certain clans, for the Makote, the Henshara, the Rothgar, the Zebro, not because every member of a given clan is of some race mind, but because many individuals of said race are associated with that clan. A fair assumption in certain cases, but take care not to give offense. I'm told this vessel has been equipped with a barrier generator to protect it from storms. A reassuring thought, though I nevertheless pray there will be no need for it. Did you want to make a wager? Or take a bet on who will be fat in the next Dawn Servant's shiny chair? There are 4 claimants in the right of succession. Your young Luke Lamont being one of them, of course. But from what a Mamulja bloke was telling us, the other 3 are all strong contenders. Not too many keen to risk their coin on the third promise. Did you learn anything of interest? Oh, I hadn't heard about the clan names. You should have Luke Lamont and Aaronville teach us the ones we should know. Really? It's getting a little chilly up here on deck. Let's all gather in the cabin.
We're in for a proper storm, it seems.
How's your stomach? Any better?
I don't know what you mean. I don't get seasick. I'm just feeling a little nauseous is all.
Isn't that what seasickness is?
Erenville, you were born in Tural, yes? Do many of you ever live there?
The Shetona, as my people are called, have settlements mainly in the north, in Tural.
And your family?
I know nothing of my father, not even his name. As for my mother...
Where the teeth of a Darlads? Reef that sail for the last snaps!
Oh dear.
Only hold that watch! This wind's too strong to take in your sound! I'm going off the mast! We need help! Get him below decks first! Quickly! Before he's washed overboard!
Come, we should lend what aid we can.
I have not seen the ocean rage with such fury before or since. The heaving waves tossed our ship about like a toy, sending sailors tumbling. The dauntless Alizé, quick to the rescue, was almost lost to the sea herself. Meanwhile, our champion rushed to deploy the vessel's magical defenses, and thereby shield us from the lightning. What an extraordinary life she must lead to be able to operate such a device with practiced ease. Vuklamat, too, threw herself into the rescue efforts, though one might have mistaken her for another soul in distress. By the time the unruly seas had calmed, our strength was all but spent, and we had yet to even glimpse the shores of Tural. In retrospect, of course, that battle against the storm would prove a fitting prelude to the coming contest for the throne.
Morning. Joining us for some fresh air? seems my belly has settled along with the weather, but I'll feel much better once we're on solid ground. Ugh. Can't be much farther now, can it?
Seabirds. Land must be near. You need only hold out a while longer.
For a dark moment, I thought the ocean might swallow us. Glad to have my pessimism proven wrong.
In other good news, I examined the sailor who took a fall, and he's faring well. I'm sure he'll make a full recovery.
Good news indeed. If all's well, then we needn't delay in launching the landing boat. Ships have to lower anchors some way from shore. Too close, and they risk having their underbellies ripped open by the reefs that crowd Tuliola's coasts. Come.
Thanks for bringing us all this way.
Ha! We only did what we were paid to do. Couldn't hardly set you adrift halfway. If anything, it should be us thanking you for helping us through that beast of a storm. As a matter of fact, everyone's starting to fancy your chances in the contest. At this rate, we won't be able to lay wagers no more.
Then I better not let you down. Easy, stomach. Easy.
We're the last to board. If there's nothing left to say, then let's shove off, shall we?
Blue seas, clear skies, and boundless possibilities. I dare say our destination will soon be in sight.
Enjoying yourself for a change?
There, look, my friends. Behold the scene of our next great adventure.
At last, we are come to the land you call the New World. To my home, Tural.
Can't wait.
seen cities with an impressive mix of cultures, but this is something else.
Is that a... No. I've never seen Vanu feathers in that color before.
You'll find much here you never knew existed. There may be a sea route now, but visitors to Tural are still few and far between. And as we don't build seafaring ships, only a handful of Turali ever venture abroad.
Mamulja sellswords mostly. Those willing to play the fool sail with Lominsan merchants to secure employment in Eorzea.
I suppose that makes us a rare sight in your country.
Rare and currently undocumented. Were there some forms we should fill out or...
Forms? Did you forget who you're traveling with?
You are outsiders? Visitors to Tural?
We are.
Our nation is soon to hold a right of succession to choose its next Dawn servant. We will not abide interference from foreign agents seeking to foment trouble. What brings you to Tural?
I can answer that. These fine people are allies in my succession bid.
Third promise. If you vouch for them, then all is well. Of course.
Please, accept our apologies.
No need to bow and scrape. That our soldiers are so diligent in their duties fills me with pride.
We'll be continuing our patrol then.
Well, well. You really are a figure of authority here.
Are you suggesting I don't look the part? Anyway, first things first. I bid you welcome to Tural.
Well, despite the storm's efforts to the contrary, here we are, safe and sound. Right then. First things first. Still a bit queasy. No more boats for a while. I realize you just arrived, but we should get you familiar with the city before the rite of succession begins. No arguments here. I should very much like to explore. Then I'll guide you. Are you sure you're in any condition to do so? Aha! We were wondering who these strange folk were. So the third promise has found herself some followers then. Followers? Well, come on. Are you unwell? No, not at all. Couldn't be better. The third promise does not get seasick. No, sir. As for my hand-picked entourage here, I've recruited them to help me win the rite of succession. I hope to show them around the city, in fact. That sounds lovely. But a group of foreigners is going to attract attention, especially if they're in the company of the Third Promise. Everyone will be curious. You certainly were. Your siblings have a tendency to command a respectful distance, but you're just so easy to approach. And I enjoy it so much when you do. Please don't ever worry that you're a bother to me. You're very kind. Good day to you, Third Promise. They did have a point. Wokoma is technically royalty here. Like it or not, a person of her station surrounded by this many outsiders is bound to draw a crowd. Wait, what do you mean technically? I suggest we move in 2 groups so as to attract less attention. Just technically ignoring me then. Adele, you and Crow can come with me. I'll take the twins then. We'll get in touch once we've had a good look around. That voyage was hard on all of us, so take it slow and recuperate. We have time enough for that. Enjoy your wanderings. Perhaps we should wait a bit, at least until Wokoma's nausea subsides. No need for that. Look, I'm ready to go. Ugh. I love the comedy in this, actually. I'm fine now, really. Can't stand around all day feeling sorry for myself, but with the contest looming and all. Now then, seeing as we're already here, I might as well tell you about the harbor. Aaronville's already mentioned the reefs in our coastal waters, which explains why you don't see any big ships moored at the docks. Only vessels which travel drafts can navigate the bay. Mostly small fishing boats or barges ferrying cargo up and down the rivers from inland settlements. Much of the incoming traffic is from Tural, the southern landmass. The clans there produce various goods for export. Their wares are unloaded here and carted off to the merchant stalls in the neighboring markets. Speaking of which, Bayside Bevy should be our next stop. This is Bayside Bevy, Tuliola's largest marketplace. Being right on the harbor, everything from fresh fish to imported wares go directly to the shelves. Anything you want, they most likely have. Oh right, I should mention that here in Tuliola we buy things with Pel, a currency that Pelo created. But don't worry, more and more trade is coming in from Eorzea, so most shops are happy to accept your guild. There's also Wachumeki Meki, another market to the east of here, but that can wait for another time. I have other places I want to show you first. Next, we'll head back a bit, then northwards up the stairs to a certain plaza. I can't wait to see the look on your faces. What do you think of that, eh? Goodness me, you have Aetheryte until the YOLO? I think I told you before, but my brother Kwana spent 3 years studying in Charlian. He fell in love with the nation and its ways, and brought back to us the knowledge of Aetheryte construction. Papa warmed to the idea at once, had one built immediately. Did you do the attuning thing? If you're ready to continue, we'll head down again and then up the slope to the side. Right at the top is the gate, which leads to Tural. Let's pick a stop at Bright Plume. Post on the way though, that's the headquarters for the Landsguard. Make sure you get either right. I don't understand, but you'll regret it if you forget. This is true. This place is awesome. This place is a hill to climb. We have a lot of narrow, winding streets that crawl up the sides of the mountain. As you can see, though, the builders made sure the city's main thoroughfares were wide enough to accommodate wagons. Trudging up and down all these slopes and stairs is exhausting. I understand now where Rook-Lamont gets her endless endurance. Here we are, Bright Bloom Post. The soldiers stationed here are responsible for defending Tural and preserving the peace. The Landsguard were led by our nation's strongest warrior, and so naturally Papa has commanded them since the beginning. At least until 3 years ago, when Zural Jah took over as commander. The title is no empty honor. It means the first promise is considered equal to the Dawn Servant in martial strength. Meanwhile, I haven't even managed to... Well, I'll discuss my brothers and their accomplishments later. Alpha Note and Alizé should be around to hear it too. Come on, this time I showed you the Sky Gate. It's right at the northern end of Telemarch. Massive, isn't it? And on the other side is an equally massive bridge to match. Both were constructed by a race of giants, the Yakoi. Strictly speaking, Tural is actually two separate continents. Tural, the southern land of the mother, and Tural, the northern land of the father, which lie beyond the bridge. Legends say it used to be one great landmass, but long ago the two gods fought a titanic battle, and when one threw the other to the ground, the impact was so devastating as to split the continent in twain. A familiar sounding tale, and put in the mind of the conflict between Hydaelyn and Zodiark. But getting back to Tural, those lands are also part of the Tural nation, correct? That's right. Isn't my father incredible? He united the people of 2 continents into a single nation. The many clans of Tural had been at war for generations. It was only when Papa traveled the lands and put a stop to their myriad conflicts that we finally had peace. And that's the main reason I want to win the throne, so I can preserve the peace he builds. But I see you're more interested in what's behind the gate than hearing about my aspirations. Crossing the bridge to Tural requires a special travel pass. Unfortunately, they won't issue any new permits until the right of succession is over. I promise to get you one when I'm Dawn Servant, but until then, you'll just have to wait. Then I'll make sure you win. Mark my words. You really mean that? Woe to anyone who stands between you and an adventure. You must have covered half the city by now. Tural is unlike any other place I've visited. I'm thoroughly enjoying myself. Second half of this Tural. We'll head west next, towards the Arch of the Dawn. The dirigible landing is on the way. You have dirigibles too? Tural certainly doesn't want for methods of travel. We get by. Now, if you see enough of this area, let me know and we'll continue on. The Arch of the Dawn is on the other side of the city, so speak up if you see something that interests you as we walk. I'm still struggling to conceive how one could construct an entire city on the side of a mountain. This was originally the site of a Yakwoi temple. The giants built it when they were first making the bridge to Tural to appease the god who slumbers in the great ocean trench. After the Yakwoi withdrew, the temple stood empty for centuries, so when Papa was establishing his new nation, he saw a structure he could refurbish into a palace, sitting practically in the center of Tural. He gathered artisans to do the work, and the houses they built for themselves became the foundation of the city you see today. Speaking of houses, we passed through the Resplendent Quarter, the biggest residential district in Tural, and climbed these sets of stairs here all the way up. Papa's palace is called Volakshunsa, which roughly translates to Invincible Resilience. You probably want to take a closer look, but we'll be coming back here later. Let's move on for now. The sheer scale of this place is incredible. I wonder what that carving at the top represents. So this is the resplendent quarter. What manner of people live here? Huh. We have residents from all the Tural clans. Amulja, Zebro, Pelu, Moblin, Hanu. We also have Tana Wata, Pizarro, and Shonsa who moved south from their ancestral lands in South Tural. In essence, it's a gathering of people from every corner of Tural. A true representation of Tuliel's diverse character. The adornments on each building contribute to the eclectic culture aesthetic. It's also beautiful. I'm glad you think so. Come, we continue down the stairs. I've never seen such an enormous drum. What would even use to beat such an instrument? That big drum there is called a Dawn Herald. They play it for the formal occasions, like when honoring the Landsguard's return from a dangerous duty. I tried hitting it with my axe once and ripped the skin. Or me a proper scolding, let me tell you. I think that was the time Papa held me upside down by the ankle. And here are dirigibles. Not bad, eh? I hear other nations use airships to sail the skies, but you'll only find balloons in Tuliolo. We have them for the exact same reason as the Aetherites. Moana brought back the plans from Charlie, and Papa thought them fantastic and commissioned their construction. This was around 3 years ago. Since that time, we've added flights to other settlements. Trade with frontier communities has never been easier. But that's enough about dirigibles. The Arch of Dawn awaits. This is it, the Arch of the Dawn. When the Giants were still here, it was known as the Tural Landgate, but when Papa founded Tuliolo, everyone began using its present name in honor of his great achievement. Through this gate is Kozama Uka, the wetland south of the city. Depending on what the right succession asks of us, we might end up going in that direction. Kozama Uka, the name alone is intriguing. Speaking of which, what were those fluffy animals we passed earlier? Ah, those are alpacas. Fearsome, four-legged fiends. Fearsome? They seem quite pleasant to me. You'll learn soon enough, Kyle. You'll learn soon enough. But forget the alpacas. I have something far more important to show you. Come along. Are these pillars what Wokamut wanted to show us? If you wish to learn the history of Tuliyollal, then look no further. These stone pillars, you mean? Heh, this spot's captured Carl's attention. A saga in stone. What is special about these pillars, if I may ask? At a glance, they might look like ordinary stone decorations. But if you take a really good look, you'll see there's something much more interesting. Pictures? Wait, no, these are glyphs. They seem to tell a series of stories, many of them featuring a two-headed Mamulja. Oh, then this must be... That's right, it follows the exploits of my father, Galul Jaja, and his journey to unite our lands. We call it the Tuliyollal Saga. The deeds he performed and the bonds he forged, all immortalized in stone. There's no better way to learn how Tuliyollal came to be. Study them as long as you like. This pillar tells the lay of the Brotherhood. It depicts the scene where Papa granted an audience of the foreign explorer Ket something. I can never remember the name. You mean Ketenram? Ah, that's the one. Ketenram's arrival in Tural is what prompted Papa to embark on his own journey. It's said the two grew to be close friends, brothers in spirit, if not in blood. But no one knows what became of the explorer and leaders later. Ketenram's disappearance is a mystery in Eorzea as well. The records say he traveled between our lands and yours for a while, but then it's assumed he was lost at sea. Here we have the Lay of Reeds. This is the story of when Papa visited the Hanu in their village in Kozamauka. Ah, the people of Alphinaud almost mistook for Vanu, if not for the colorful plumage. He spent a fair bit of time among the Vanu in the Sea of Clouds, so it's no surprise he took an interest in your countrymen. I don't know how it is with your Vanu, but our Hanu are a bright and cheerful sort. They hold this one festival every year, very famous and a lot of fun. This one recounts the lay of her past. As you can probably tell, the figure depicted here is of the zebra like me. For decades, the zebra and the Mamulja were at war for control of the forest of Yaktel. The actions Papa took to end that conflict have since been hailed as the first steps in the founding of Tuliyollal. There is a clan of Hrothgar and Boja known as the Hellions. In their society, the women rule as queens and the men serve as devoted subjects. Yet here in Tural, zebra men and women appear to be of equal status. How dramatically culture can vary with location. Let's see. This one is the Lay of Pots, which depicts the moblins of Kozamauka. They might wear odd masks and sound weirdly muffled when they talk, but the gold and silver work they sell is the best you'll find anywhere. Moblin goods are the standard when it comes to gift giving. Clearly the Vanu aren't the only people with distant Turali counterparts. If you're done with the first half, we can move on to the second. The Lay of Gold. This pillar shows one of the Pelu Pelu, whose homeland is in Urkopacha. Having created our currency, the Pelu are rightfully known as the Merchant Clan. They oversee Tuliola's markets, and their traveling peddlers are a common sight no matter where you go in Tural. Don't let their size fool you. They might be mistaken as children, but beneath those beaked masks, they are clever and calculating traders. Oh, this one's my favorite, the Lay of Ice. It depicts the battle with the legendary Tural Vidral, Valley Garmanda. I should explain. A Tural Vidral is a creature that has lived far beyond its usual lifespan and awakened to preternatural power. Tataru described the Far Eastern auspices in a similar fashion. Could this be the same phenomenon? Valley Garmanda itself was dubbed the Sky Ruin, a name earned for the destruction and terror it visited upon Tural every time it stirred from its slumber. But 80 years or so ago, its ruinous reign was brought to an end. After a great struggle, Papa and his comrades managed to overcome the raging Vidral and sealed it away in the Urqupacha Mountains. Despite its reputation, however, Valley Garmanda is also a symbol of power. That's why you'll see its likeness on Tuliola's nation emblem, and adorning the banners at the palace. Oh, this one is unmarked. Papa says he left a blank pillar for the next chapter of Tuliola's history, whatever that might be. Ah, the Lay of Proof. That big fellow is of the Hakyui, the largest of Tural's people. These giants once used their great size and strength to establish a dominion encompassing all of Yaktural. Having brought the southern reaches to heel, they then turned northwards, setting their sights on Saktural. You'll recall that massive bridge they built beyond the Skygate. Sometime after launching their northern campaign, however, they just gave up. They abandoned the lands they conquered and withdrew into the mountains of Urqupacha. I've never seen any of their kind so much as set foot in the city. This was a people with the power and resourcefulness to raise a temple on a mountaintop and build a bridge across the sea with stone. What would move them to renounce their ambitions and their place in Turali history? Had you fill of history then? Yes, thank you. Glad to hear it. You know, I feel awfully hungry all of a sudden. No surprises there, seeing I couldn't keep anything down for a while, but now I think I'm ready to eat again. So let's go and have ourselves a bite of local delicacy. Come, I'll take you to the best restaurant in the city. I like the sound of that. What a lovely establishment. I'm reminded of Bismarck and Limsa. Have you ever had tacos? They're a Toliola classic. You bake a crunchy shell made from corn flour and fill it with meat and salad. A lot of shops and stalls sell them, but I like how they're made here at Zelyev Thai Best. And I need one right in front of me right now. Let's head downstairs and place an order with old Rook Ivu.
Brokevo! My companions must sample your heavenly tacos. One for each of us, please.
Right away, promise. And I'll pack them tight with my choicest feelings. Only the best for you and your friends.
Did you hear the silver scares are back? Seems their overseas foray ended in disaster. More than half their warband is missing, including their leader.
Aye. And now keen to rebuild their broken reputations, the survivors seek the Golden City. A fool's errand. How many hopefuls have disappeared in search of that fable? They should count their lucky stars they came home alive at all.
The legend of the Golden City is well known here, I take it.
It is, but as no one's ever seen it, many question if there is any truth to the tale. Like our skeptical Erinville.
I can't imagine the Dawn Servant would request a formal survey for a place that doesn't exist.
Now to find a spot with a pleasant view to enjoy our crunchy spoils. Oh. Oh.
If it isn't the third promise.
Oh. No.
I don't know these ones. New salt. Dredge from foreign waters is my guess, brother. Of course, that's it. Wuklamat is so afraid of the coming contest that she went crying for special help.
Was there something you wanted, Bakul Jaja?
The third promise remembers us! Such an honor. Glory on your name, brother. And on yours, brother.
I know my rivals for the throne. Nothing more.
Another child of the Dawn Servant?
No, this brute.
We have no ties to their farce of a family. Unlike the sneevling house cat, we are blessed siblings, the elevated chosen. We alone are fit to succeed Golul Jaja as Dawn Servant.
All peoples are equal in Tulihyolal. Your heritage gives you no greater claim to the throne.
Shall we test that idea here and now? See if your strength is equal to ours.
None of this has any bearing on the right of succession, correct? Best not waste your energies on pointless scuffles.
The kitten comes to the house cat's defense. Pathetic. Since when was our nation overrun by mewling weaklings?
Listen to me, you.
A two-headed mamulja. I knew of them, but that's the first I've seen in the flesh.
Some get it into their twin heads that they're destined to follow in my father's footsteps. So they travel to distant lands to hone their battlecraft. Those are likely the ones you've heard about.
Are there other two-headed claimants?
No, just Bakul Jaja. Even in Tural, his kind are far from common. The Mamulja people largely belong to one of three clans. The Hubigo, the Bunewa, and the Dopro. Every once in a great while, a two-headed offspring is born from a union between the brown-scaled Hubiko and the blue-scaled Bunewa. The child grows to possess immense strength, both physical and magical.
Blessed siblings indeed.
Forget them. Let's go and buy more tacos. I can think of nothing better to rid me of this bad taste in my mouth.
Enjoying your tour of the city, I trust. We've seen our share of notable sights and took a moment to rest. As such, we're ready to present ourselves at the palace for the rite of succession. Shall we meet you there?
The palace it is. I'll let Wuklamart know. Destiny calls. Perhaps we can return for more tacos later?
So it goes.
I was looking forward to trying some authentic Tuliyola cuisine, but we should hurry and join Alphino and the others at the palace. Alright, it's a bit of a climb to the top, but you can head up from the Resplendent Quarter or even the eastern side of Talamarch if you prefer. Now that you have an idea of how the city is laid out, I'll let you find your own way to Valuk Shunsa. Ah, my poor empty belly. Mountain indeed. We're not there yet. Almost. Gosh, that's awesome. This is huge. Oh my gosh. Don't mind if I borrow this. Do you have a better feel for the city now? We saw two hidden Mamulja on our way here. Another claimant in the right of succession, according to Aaronville. There are so many narrow, winding streets, but even if you get lost, all you have to do is keep heading up, and you'll arrive at the palace eventually. The food is amazing. A Passing Mamucha, let us try a fruit called cherry moya, and it was just sublime. You made it. Good. And we're all here. I'm still hungry enough to eat a whole roasted colibri, but the contest won't wait for us forever. The right of succession. I've acquainted the twins with the city as best I could in a short time. Their unbridled enthusiasm made it rather difficult. Invariably, something would catch their eye, spurring them to run down an alley to investigate. 'Twas like herding a pair of unruly curs. I understand all too well. Charlie had the same effect on me. Right then. Now it's time we saw the inside of the palace. Papa will want to know I'm home and to meet the allies I've chosen. Given how impulsive he is, though, there's no telling what we might be in for.
When did he get here?
What's the point? Why is he here?
Oh, you know this man? Whenever my father spots a promising opponent, he invites them to Sunperch to duel. Pressing duties or no, he can't resist a good fight.
So the one Estinian's crossing blades with.
That will do, Spearman. I will receive my darling daughter.
Yo, what?
Know that you are the strongest I fought in many a moon, if not longer. It is the privilege of a life long lived to face such a formidable soul.
If it's formidable you want, then look no further than that woman there.
I see you, warrior.
We had no idea you meant to visit Tural.
I've seen what lies east. This time I chose west.
And thus did our itinerant dragoon make his travel plans.
You witnessed our bout. If you thought he was fearsome, that was with one head dozing.
I'm not sure I understand.
The old man has been feeling his years. The uncovered side is the head of resolve, and age has only deepened his love for combat. But the head of reason, wiser of the two, sleeps more and more these days. As I understand it, the veil helps with the restoration of his magical energies.
Enough about me, Lamati. I want to hear of your adventures.
Lamachi. A term of endearment. It's what my family calls me.
When last did we see you in the palace? Greetings, Solanash.
It's Erenville now, Don Servant. I took the name while abroad, and have since grown accustomed to it.
Erenville, then. And these others? I assume are Lamati's recruited allies. Ha! All-tempered steel. Yet as much as I'd enjoy testing their metal, the hour of the right is at hand. I will summon the other claimants at once. Then I shall leave you to it. Good.
He said good fortune, my friends.
The claimants are assembled. The first promise, Zorolja. The second promise, Ona. The third promise, Uklamat. And lastly, the chosen of Mamuk, Bakun Jaja. You four will compete in the right of succession, the outcome of which will decide who takes my place as Dawn Servant. I am not the man I once was. My wiser half sleeps the days away, and it is time I yield my position. But mine is a torch that has never been passed. Tuliyola is young, and so I look to the always for inspiration. The right of succession, the means by which the Autarch of Mamuk was chosen. Only the two-headed were deemed fit for this contest. But the Tuliyola I built is a nation of many peoples. Our leader needn't have two heads, nor be a Mamuja at all. So I gave the right of claimant not only to the son I sired, but to my adopted children as well. Yet the opportunity to rule was still not equal. That is why a recent tournament offered a place in the contest as the winning prize.
Now you have us to compete against. Though it seems the one head was already too afraid to face us in the tournament.
Our
brother was in Shock Tural leading the Landsguard on a campaign to eradicate a Tural Vidral. Anyone with sense would know he was too busy for games.
Now for the part you've been waiting to hear. The nature of the contest itself. To triumph in the right of succession, and thereby claim our nation's throne, you must travel the lands of Tural and find the City of Gold.
If I may, Father.
Speak, Kona.
The Golden City is an ancient Turali legend, but after so many failed attempts to find it, the story has become more fairy tale than fact. If you would charge us with such a quest, are we then to assume you have proof of the city's existence?
I offer us proof, my unbroken word. For I have seen it with my own 4 eyes.
The city's real. All those years.
This was before the founding of Tural. I traveled the lands of Tural with my companions. And we ended our journey at the gates to the Golden City. I mean to have you do the same. But in order to achieve victory proper, you need to break the seal I put in place. Bring them.
Tuliyola Saga.
You will retrace the path I walked to unite our peoples step by step. Along the way, 7 chosen electors will be waiting to measure your worth. Earn their keystones by performing the feats they ask of you. Once you've fitted each of the 7 tablets with the keystone, you'll have the key to unlock the seal on the Golden City's gates.
So the contest is in stages, none of which can be skipped by rushing to the ultimate objective.
Exactly. Exciting, isn't it?
Martial tournaments, hunting festivals, and now this? You do so love your contests, Papa.
Were I a few years younger, I would have joined in myself, giving you a proper challenge. You may think the ride is tedious or nonsensical, or both, but I am yielding our nation's throne. Let me have this final indulgence.
A waste of time. Just name Bakunja just a successor and be done with it.
The rite of cessation begins now. I'll be watching you progress with great interest. And Clemens, remember to collect your tablets before you leave. You are one of Lamachi's allies. Speak freely.
I am Cryle Baldessian, representative of the students of Baldessian. My name is perhaps familiar to you?
Ah.
It would seem you sent this letter to my orders some years ago. The ink has since faded and much of the writing is illegible. Even so, we managed to determine the essence of it. A request to investigate the Golden City, addressed to my grandfather, Galuf. Included with the correspondence was this earring. A fairy tale and a piece of jewelry were enough to convince my grandfather to sail halfway across the world. So there is surely some greater mystery at work here. On behalf of the students, I've come to seek clarification on the matter. Have you any knowledge you might share with me?
No, not at this time. I have tasked the claimants with finding the Golden City. To fulfill your request would afford one of them an unfair advantage in the right of succession. But once the contest is decided, I plan to entrust the entire truth to my successor. If you want to hear it, then you had best help Lamachi win.
Very well, Dawn Servant. On my honor as a student of Baldessian, I will find your Golden City. Thank you for hearing my petition.
How about that? She's grown into a remarkable young woman. You should be proud, Galuf.
Wait, he knows?
Too late to change your mind now, I suppose. But are you sure you wish to be part of this? Our third promise is not wont to take no for an answer. Though you may have agreed to help, I worry that you were swept up in her relentless enthusiasm. Or perhaps you've been lured by the glory of the Golden City. Either way, this contest for the throne will place you and yours at the heart of political turmoil. If you are second-guessing your decision, tell me now. This may be my last chance to help you withdraw.
Life is a series of journeys, my friend, and there's no telling what awaits us on the long road. But what's important is to be true to yourself as you walk it. Only then can we hope to be content when we arrive at the end of one and step forward into another.
I want to see where my journey leads.
So you are committed to your path. I will speak no more of it then. As for my own involvement, I can no longer conduct myself as a mere guide, I think. Not after the Dawn Servant's revelation.
Here they come!
It's Saralja!
Such a fearsome mien. Make no mistake, there goes Tuliola's mightiest warrior.
First promise, our village needs aid. The cold weather stunts our crops, and the children of our village go hungry. Once you ascend the throne, I beg of you, grant my people new lands, please!
Serelja. Take heart, tiller of the soil. The Sessiion son, blood heir to the Dawn Servant, has heard your pleas.
Soralja, the first promise and commander of the Landsguard. Serelja, the Palaceer. As he was so careful to remind the crowd, Soralja is indeed the natural child of Gurul Jaja.
And Resilient Son, is that another title, like the first promise?
After a fashion. Common knowledge has it that two-headed Mamulja cannot sire children. Yet Soralja was born all the same, with the head of Resolve's features and the head of Reason's scales. An extraordinary example of life's unyielding resilience.
And a warrior's reticence. He says little, but the way he moves... I know a hardened soldier when I see one.
He's a natural swordsman, a gift he inherited from his father. Some even say that the son has already surpassed the sire. Should he come to power, the first promise means to employ that martial prowess in the conquest of foreign lands. For this, he and his supporters have been labeled expansionists. This puts him in direct opposition to Uklamat, who advocates for the preservation of peace. You may recall that she spoke of a claimant who cannot be allowed to rule. That is Soralja, the warmonger.
Cryon, are you all right?
The echo. It gave me a glimpse into Zoralja's ambitions. Deep and unknowable, like an abyss. Yet at the same time, a roaring, unquenchable fire. It was a trifle terrifying, to be frank.
Second promise, you must bring us more marvelous conveniences. More dirigibles and trains and the like. We need you in charge to make trading easier. The elders, they complain and complain about abandoning tradition. But we're not like them, afraid of everything foreign and new. You have our wholehearted support. With your ingenuity and knowledge, you're sure to win the contest.
Forgive me, but the right of succession is barely begun. I will hear your petitions if and when I am named Dawn Servant. If you will excuse me.
Plain spoken, as always. That's Arcona. Practical to a fault.
Here we have Kona, The second promise, who spent time as a pupil at Sharlayan's own studium.
Now that you mention it, I think I did see him in the halls once or twice. There was nothing to suggest he was Turali, much less from a royal family.
That was by design. He forwent his usual garb and took an Eorzean name to avoid attention.
So it was Kona who introduced the dirigibles. And the railway too, given what we just heard.
In furtherance of his goal, to enrich Tuliolal with every bright notion he learned of in Sharlayan. He is the hope of those who prize innovation. As aloof as he may seem, Kona and Wuklamat actually get along rather well. They bicker and banter as only close siblings do.
How gracious of you all to cheer the lesser claimants. Oh, come now. What are you afraid of? I'm no different from your Dawn servant. That my kind should reign is Mamulja tradition, and has been so since before there was a Tuliyola. I'll brush aside your feeble contenders, and then you'll see who deserves your deity.
Well said, brother.
The Mamulja have finally found peace in Tuliolal. I pity those fanatics are intent on keeping that tradition alive.
The chosen of Mamuk, Bakul Jaja, winner of the recent martial tournament, and the only claimant not of the Dawn's promise. His strength is undeniable, but you see how he is. A few devoted Mamulja are his only supporters.
What would he do with the throne should he win it?
His policies and so forth. I doubt he's thought much beyond winning the contest itself. But one thing seems certain. If he does become Dawn servant, he will see the Mamulja exalted as the ruling class, and all others forced into subservience.
Sounds like another that cannot be allowed to rule.
We wish for one thing and one thing only, third promise. To abide together in harmony with our neighbors whom we love in this land we share. It is our way, the Turali way.
Galul Jaja built for us this peaceful nation, and we beg you to preserve it.
You have my word. I won't let your pleas go unanswered.
Until Tuliolal was founded some 80 years ago, this continent was ravaged by war. The eldest among us remember that dark era, and they are Wuklamat's most ardent supporters.
Apologies, it's hard to get away. This is Namika, my childhood nursemaid. She's been like a mother to me my whole life. I told her it wasn't necessary, but she insisted on seeing us off.
I place our precious third promise into your care. Did you know Wuklamat was taking part in the rite of succession?
Of the Dawn's promise. I thought it was only Zoralja and Kona. If she has any accomplishments to her name, I've yet to hear them.
Compared to the two Mamulja, she pales in martial prowess. And then there's Kona, who's far and away the most educated of the bunch. I hate to say it, but it's hardly a competition.
It's fine. More than anyone. I understand how much better my brothers are than me.
Better? Wuklamat. I have never thought of you as the lesser sibling. Your brothers may excel in their respective ways, but you boast qualities that both lack. A strength that is yours alone. Having cared for you for so long, I should know.
Thank you, Namika. Well, we ought to be on our way.
Yes, hurry along. I await word of your victory with bated breath.
As you just witnessed, Wuklamat has no great army supporters. Not yet, at least. I know not what drives Raja, but it engulfs him like an inferno. That two-headed claimant, Bakul Jaja, treats everyone around him as lesser beings. No doubt he tried to elevate the Mamulja above the other races, should he become Dawn Servant, not unlike how the Garlean Empire had afforded special status to pure-blood Garleans. So, Koana, the second promise, is intent on developing his country by means of Charlie innovations. Given his background, I suppose it should come as no surprise. No, so much for the brief reunion I had in mind. Papa is not one to waste time when he decides to act. I'm used to it by now, of course, but others are often caught off guard. In any case, we should talk about how we're going to find the City of Gold. All we have to work with are the 7 tablets and their connection to the Tural Saga. Might I suggest first comparing the tablets against the pillars? We could check for any discrepancies between them. Good idea. Let's go and take a look. I won't give up until we find the Golden City, for Wuklamat as well as myself. I wasn't expecting events to progress that quickly, but I won't complain. The contest is the main reason we're here after all. Preparation for intricately carved tablets for every claimant must have taken considerable effort and forethought. We should consider them weighty reminders that this contest is no light-hearted matter. a glance, they seem much the same. That makes everyone. Welcome, let's help us if you would. Of course. Everyone has a tablet? Then let's compare them to their respective pillars. Keep an eye out for even the smallest differences. Unless I'm missing something, the glyphs appear to be identical. The only difference being that the tablets have hollows where the keystones are to be fitted. So now that we've established that the scenes are the same, where do we go from here? The Dawn Servant said that we were to retrace the path he walked and united to Tural's peoples, and that we would encounter 7 electors along the way. Then we had to enter here in front of us. Papa's path is all laid out in the Tural Saga. The events the glyphs portray, do we know the exact locations where they took place? If one is close, we could go there and search for an elector. That would confirm we're on the right track. Let me think. The Lay of Reeds was in the nearby Hanu settlement. Papa took me there once. It was during festival season, and the whole village was alive with good cheer. There's also the Lay of Gold, the one involved in the Pelu Pelu village, which is about the same distance from here. Before going anywhere, we should ask around about the road ahead. I heard a lot of talk as we toured the city about that storm we passed through at sea. Apparently it ravaged Tural several days ago. Since our roads are not well paved as yours is, they're more susceptible to damage from natural disasters. If we want to avoid wasting time taking a dead-end trail, I suggest we spend a few moments making inquiries. If it's information we need, just leave it to me. I'll bring the information to us. It will be prudent to ensure we prepared for our journey. I'll guide you to the accommodations I've arranged. Oh, such lovely little cottages, and they're underwater. Pokemon said she would bring the information to us. I wonder what she meant by that. What a comfort to have our lodging sorted in advance. That's right. The reservation is under Woklamat's name. If you don't mind, I'll leave my companions to you. Certainly, sir. I'll go and track down the third promise. Once you finish organizing your gear, you can meet us outside Tibliane Tire. Greetings, visitors to Sessiion, and welcome to the Forge Cabins. Whenever you're ready, I will show you to your rooms. Trust you to be the keenest to head out, Del. But where are Aaronville and Wilclamont, I wonder? Oh, good. You're all here. Who might your companions be? Seeing as we needed information, I thought who better to get it from than the locals. These two hail from the villages we're thinking to visit. I give you credit for taking initiative at least. What do you mean at least? I am honored that their promise would seek my advice. I too am happy to answer your questions. Any encounter might be an opportunity to do business. Thank you both for your help. Before we begin, there will doubtless be other occasions when we need to act independently, so I brought these for the two of you. What's this? 'Tis called a link pearl, a gemstone harvested from a special shell. When linked together, they allow people to communicate across great distances. Is that so? What a handy thing to have. It'll be very useful on our travels. Speaking of which, I should get back to introducing my two new friends here. The Tural Saga features a number of Tural's claims. Two of those, the Hanu Hanu and the Pelu Pelu, have settlements relatively close to the city, so I have brought a representative of each. As I mentioned before, the Hanu are cheerful people who love their festivals. They make their appearances in the Lay of Reeds, and their home village, Akanu, is located in Kozamauka. The other smaller fellow is one of the Pelu, a clan of business-minded folk from Urkupacha. They appear in the Lay of Gold and craft all kinds of marvelous goods in Wachunpelo, their village. Now, as for deciding which visit to visit first, why don't you put the adventures of yours to work for us? Pick our destination. Two branch crossings. I see. Cool. I choose the Pelu. To Urkupacha. What is it you'd like to know? Our main concern was confirming the state of the road ahead. As I recall, to reach Urkupacha, we depart from the Arch of the Dawn, then take the road west at the first fork. Should we be wary of anything along the way? That is indeed the way to Urkupacha. After the damage wrought by the recent downpour, however, you'll be doing more stumbling than walking. But do take heart, when it comes to rugged terrain, we have a most dependable solution available. Come with me. We'll be back to talk to you in good time, friend Hanu. Meanwhile, you can eat and drink to your fill at Zibel Tai. It's all been arranged. A new dawn, a new hunt. You there. You were at Alicia West, how do you not? The adventurer from across the water who has been lending a third promise of strength? Then well met. To tell the truth, I've been meaning to make your acquaintance for some time. I have a question for you. You are familiar with the Ocean hunts, yes? We have something very similar here in Tuliolo, and having heard much of your philanthropic spirit, not to mention your capacity for violence, we should very much like to recruit you to our cause. If you're interested, speak with my associate Bol Oga. The Zabral is the master of the hunt, and administers the bills in the square overlooking the port. Tell him the wing of protection recommends you. think I understand what the plan was. The Pelu Pelu all being small is confusing enough, but those masks make it almost impossible to tell men from women, let alone guess at their age. Talking to a Pelu before we departed was a wise decision. I, for one, would have not rather brave a treacherous, slippery trail on foot. Ugh, why did it have to be alpacas? Oh my, are these fluffy babies our mounts? The beasts are sure further, that's for certain. May I introduce you to our most dependable companion, the alpaca. These animals can traverse Urquapacha's steep mountain trails as if they were gentle fields, and all while carrying heavy loads. Our merchants would be lost without them. So they fill much the same needs as our chocobos back home. You don't have alpacas in Eorzea? Alpacas are native to Tural. Eorzea has its chocobos, and the eastern lands have their horses. Why go to the trouble of breeding another pack beast in a place which ill-suits its qualities, and where it is not needed anyway? But must we ride these little monsters? I get the impression you aren't fond of alpacas. When I was small and being a bit naughty, I went around pulling on their wool. One of them spat on me, and it was the foulest stench you could imagine. I see. What do they like to ride? Alpacas bred as mounts are inquisitive and docile. Even those without experience find them easy to handle. We're really doing this then. So, was my information useful to you? Yes, very helpful. Even if it wasn't what I wanted to hear. Good, I'll take my payment now. You want me to pay you? I guess I should have expected as much from a Pelu merchant. Let me see what I have on me. The Pelu value the act of spreading joy through trade. As you should know, they take pride in making deals that benefit both parties. Here you go, a fair price for your fair advice. Yes, I made a trade with a good promise for self. My friends will never believe this. I shall be on my way now. I wish you safe travels. Off you go then, and thank you. I better not get spit on again. You brought that on yourself. Remain calm and gentle, and so will they. I'm still not quite happy about this, but if we need to ride alpacas to reach Urquapacha, then that's what we'll do.
Turali poets of yore sang of a mountain that would stand tall, even should all other lands sink beneath the sea. Indomitable and eternal, it arises from Urquapacha, the 100 peaks of time. Of all the beasts which crawl and fly, only the legendary Valigarmanda could hope to disturb the summit's serene majesty. Yet, with that flying calamity imprisoned by the Dawn Serpent, what great feat remains for those who would claim the throne?
So this is Urquapacha. I've never actually been here before.
The air is so crisp and clear.
Mountains everywhere you look.
That one massive peak in particular has quite the presence. It puts me in mind of Som Al.
That is Workor Sormor, the tallest mountain in Tural. Its sheer height makes it an imposing climb. But there are other reasons the ambitious keep their distance.
Oh? Do tell.
Where to begin?
Excuse me, but you're Wuk Lamat, are you not? I hadn't thought to encounter one of the Dawn's promise here of all places. But I should introduce myself. I am Bol Nok, a weaver by trade.
Well met, Bolnok. We're on our way to Watrunpelo.
Oh, truly. I've just come from there, as it happens. I'd asked the Pelu Pelu who sell me their wool to give me a tour of their alpaca ranch. The head rancher and I shared a bottle of mezcal while he explained the finer points of wool production.
Mezcal, is that a local beverage?
It's an Urgopacha specialty, a spirit made from distilled agave heart juice.
Yes, and it must have done wonders for my mood, for I tripled my usual order of alpaca wool. They did offer me a discount, though, so it wasn't a bad deal in the end. But listen to me, boring you with my tedious stories. I will leave you before you are lulled to sleep. Goodbye, and safe travels. Oh, silly me. I almost forgot to say the thing I actually wanted to say. Peace for Tural. I agree with your vision, Third Promise. You have my support in your bid for the throne.
I gather from his tale we would be foolish to underestimate Pelu Pelu merchants.
Yes, they do more than run the markets in Tuliyollal. Pelu Pelu peddlers can be found everywhere in Tural, traveling from place to place on their sturdy alpacas. They are effusive and engaging speakers, and many's the customer who's been talked into spending more than they bargained for.
They won't find this customer so easily charmed.
Watrunpelo's down the path! Off the main road! Don't get lost!
It's right there!
I feel the change in altitude most keenly. While it may happen not to the same degree as the Sea of Clouds, the air is decidedly thin here. The palace crowds were more supportive of their brothers, but Wuk Lamat's peaceful politics do have their quiet adherents, I see. I could see more buildings down the path Bolnok was taking. I wonder what's over that way. This is it, Watrunpelo, home of the Pelu Pelu. Wuk Lamat should have arrived before us. That's not good. You've come all this way for the right succession. Oh. So this means I'm exchanging words with the future Dawn servant. Please, the outcome is far from decided, but it is a possibility. How fortunate then that I deal in cloaks woven from the especially luxurious alpaca wool. Such a garment would look magnificent when draped over the shoulders of our budding warrior. And a nation's ruler should dress her best for her adoring people, yes? Finery for our finest lady, that's right. Come, third promise, my well-stocked shelves are but a few steps away. Finest lady. I like the sound of that. Alright, I suppose a quick look wouldn't hurt. Ahem, what did we just talk about? Erenville, when did you... Ah, a Shatona from far off Tural. Northern winters are bitterly cold affairs, I'm told. I cannot imagine how you survived them without a lovely warm cloak of quality alpaca wool. No thank you. I'm not in need of new clothes at the moment, and neither is the third promise. Perhaps another time. Of course, of course. My shop door is always open. You were saying something about not being easily charmed? I was just... As I mentioned previously, the Pella people live for bringing happiness to trade. They won't cheat you or sell you defective goods. They will, however, disarm you with their deft turns of phrase, and unwitting customers like Wook Lamont fall prey to this affable approach time and time again. Your only recourse is a clear and firm refusal. They won't pursue the matter should you make your disinterest plain. A valuable insight into the mind of the Pelu Pelu. Let us all take Erenville's words of caution to heart. Alright, let's go ahead and end chapter 1, I'm going to say part 1 there. This is quite a long journey so far, and of course it's the very, very beginning, and this music is incredible. So I've had an incredible time so far, just enjoying this. So thank you all for watching. Tune in next time. We will tune in and continue from there with Dawntrail chapter 1, part 2. See you around.